Welcome to the MHS Podcast Live. My name is Guy Danhoff, and I'll be your host tonight as we have a very special edition as we're going to be talking about the CSPAP School Scholarship Success Stories. And for those of you who may not know what CSPAP stands for, it's the Comprehensive School Physical Activity Program. And recently we have had some schools that have gotten some scholarship money, and they're going to tell you tonight all about their amazing success stories. Without further ado, I'd like to bring on Missouri Healthy Schools consultant, Laura Beckman. And Laura, how are you?
Great. How are you, Guy?
Good. So, Laura, it's been really exciting. And all I can say is this is a first of its kind. Missouri Healthy Schools receiving funding from the CDC for these scholarships. I was wondering if maybe you could tell our viewers, talk to us about how this all came about.
Sure. So Missouri Healthy Schools is a part of a Centers for Disease Control, a grant. And so this grant was received 5 years ago. And one of the main priorities is to get our school districts to do comprehensive school physical activity programs. So what schools can do is play a vital role in helping kids to meet that national 60 minutes a day of physical activity. And the implementation of the whole school, whole community, whole child model provides those opportunities for that to happen. So basically, it is research-based physical education and physical activity. It's a multi-component approach where you coordinate and synergize across those multi-components to assist with those students getting that physical education programming that's quality delivered, and also receiving extra physical activity throughout the day. So physical education, of course, is the foundational piece. And then we have the physical activity before, during, and after school, staff involvement, and then, of course, family and community involvement. So back in November, we offered scholarships to school districts that would assess their schools and some of their buildings. They could do it at the district or school level and look at physical education practices and policies, as well as physical activity across the school day and before and after. The School Health Index has that specific component and topic area. And so the schools were asked if they wanted to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Missouri Healthy Schools Department, and then look at some of their weaknesses and strengths, and then come up with some goals that would really impact that. The thing to know about CSPAP programming, it is research-based. And we know that increased physical activity and getting kids to enter into physical activity opportunities throughout the day and have quality physical education programming that could drive healthy lifestyle development. When we look at that, we see that healthy kids are better learners. It improves attendance. It improves grades. It improves behavior. And it's across the board. So this is a way for the school districts to assess in these research-based practices and policies, and then look at some goals that would fit their unique need, right?
Yep.
And then integrate, begin to implement about 3 to 5 goals of how they see they could improve.
So with that, I know that this past November in 2022, you were at the MOSHAPE, which is the Missouri Society for Health and Physical Educators. You got on our main stage and you were talking about how these scholarships were available. Talk to us about what was that process like? What was the funding sources? And how did schools actually apply for this?
Well, CDC had the funding. We had the funding as one of our main priorities to get schools to provide more opportunities for physical active children. So in November, we came up with an MOA with some of the MOSHAPE board members and Dr. Sheri Beeler. She is a certified Missouri trainer in comprehensive school physical activity program through CDC, as well as the Springboard to Active Schools group. NGO. And so with that partnership, Dr. Sheri Beeler has been one of our trainers in Missouri for quite some time. And we really pulled her in as the facilitator. So we asked school districts that were interested in entering into this to receive funding for some grant activity criteria and to assess and then look at a school health improvement plan around CSPAP, multi-component areas, and then begin to implement that plan.
Got you. And how many for the CSPAP scholarships, how many awards were given?
We had about 11 scholarships.
Okay.
And they were $3,000 a piece.
Wow. And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're actually going to hear from about half of those school districts that received this funding. And we're going to hear about all the amazing, literally, stories of how the schools use this. Now, what I found most surprising is I was getting ready for tonight's show was no two schools did the same thing.
Right, because it's based on their unique needs, right? So they're able to look at their scores and really come up with their team of people because they utilize the assessment through a team approach and then come up with some goals that they felt were the ones that would be most important and able to succeed in implementing, right? I'm very proud of the school districts and schools that got involved. They are great. They're rock stars. They have implemented their plans. They wrote summaries of what they were able to accomplish with the funding. And then they also showed the case studies. So the impact and the successes through sustainability is just, it's going to be great to listen from all of them, their stories.
All right, Laura. Well, without further ado, let's introduce our co-host for tonight's show. That's going to be none other than Dr. Sheri Beeler. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about Sheri.
Well, there she is. She is our leader. And so this group met for monthly with Dr. Beeler, and she was able to walk them through the grant activity steps, provide technical assistance as they move through with their budgetary needs, as they move through with their plans, and provide great guidance. So we are really glad to have Dr. Beeler leading these efforts along with the great champions that we had from the schools and school districts.
So Sheri.
Hi, Sheri.
Hi, Laura. Hi, guys.
Talk to us about this journey. What's it been like on your end facilitating over these past few months?
It's been amazing. All the schools have worked very hard, very diligently, meeting their deadlines, designing their programs based on their SWI results. And it's just been so amazing to watch them, enjoyable to work with them, and outstanding to see the things that we can do with Missouri.
All right. Yeah. So, Laura, we want to thank you for coming on. Maybe we'll bring you back here at the end. So thank you, Laura, for coming on and setting the stage for tonight. And we'll turn it over to our co-host, Sheri. Thanks, Laura. All right, Sheri, who are we bringing up first? What school district? Where are we going in the state of Missouri? And who is it?
We are going to the southwest corner first. And Miss Chelsea Davenport is going to talk to us from the Neosho School District. She's the wellness coordinator and assistant with Freeman Health Systems. She did some, hi Chelsea.
Hi.
She's done some amazing programming.
All right. So Chelsea, here's your first question. What inspired your interest to this opportunity and why did you pursue it?
Well, like Laura had said, I'm on another committee with her, MOCAN, which is the Missouri Council for Activity and Nutrition. And she just happened to reach out to me when I was on that call that day. And I said, of course, our school would like to. I kind of just went ahead and said, of course, we would like to do it. So that's kind of how I got started, because I know that the need for physical activity is just irreplaceable when you're talking about young children and all the way up to high school students. I feel like that our district is very, very supportive of obviously the kids. And I have a very supportive superintendent. So anytime I bring an idea or even a grant opportunity, he's all on board with that. So when I mentioned this to him, he really thought myself as well, because my office is in the high school. We have 10 buildings in our district. And so my office is in the high school, and I see the high school students every day. So that kind of pulled at my heart, and I asked him, and he said, why don't we give the high school the opportunity to receive these resources from your grant? So what I did was I contacted all of our champions, our coaches, our PE teachers, and they sat down. I believe it took us about 3 to 4 hours to go through and take the SHI index, which is the school health index, to see where our needs were, like Laura had spoke about earlier. Yeah. And we found that our needs were really, really trying to get programs for after school. You know, as the kids get older, if they're not in competitive sports, then where do they belong? You know, so our thought was to bring extra activities for them to get involved in. So this grant really did help support that. We were able to do a lot of little neat activities that covered all aspects of our PE department.
Wow. Sheri, next question.
Hey, Chelsea, number 2 question. How did you identify your needs and create goals and actions to address the needs? You mentioned the SHI index, so go from there.
Great. Yes. So like I mentioned earlier, we took the SHI index, and the cool thing was we had about 6 to 7 people on my committee that took this survey. So everyone was able to give their own opinion about where they felt like the need was for their PE students, because most of them are coaches. And so they serve both of those job titles, coach and then PE teacher. So it was really nice collaboration. I will say that I did mention that to our superintendent, that I was like really blown away at the teamwork that everybody came up with, finding the action plans that we needed. So I think that was the most important thing to me, is that everybody was on the same page about what the needs were for the high school students. And would you like me to go ahead and talk about what our action steps were?
Sure.
Okay, great. So the first plan that we thought was after school. So one of the coaches mentioned that he wanted to start a powerlifting club, and he didn't know if he had enough resources for that. And he felt that some of the kids were maybe detoured because they didn't know if they would be able to do it because they weren't an athlete. So he wanted us to see if we could get more resources like weightlifting belts, barbells, and perhaps mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, opportunities for them to excel with the powerlifting or the weightlifting. So we bought some pins that they could get if they heard us hit a certain level of what they thought they could do, or above what they thought they could do. So that was really nice to see that the coach wanted to bring in more people to powerlifting, to expose them to weightlifting in a safe way. So that was one of the clubs that we were able to sponsor and help with resources on that. The next thing, we had a teacher do an after-school walking group. And that was a need as well. And with the walking group, we also invited staff. So not just students, but we thought maybe the interaction between staff and students would be nice, like in an outside setting. So they met once a week for 8 weeks, and we bought walker trackers. So everyone that came was able to wear one. And we actually were able to buy enough so that they could use them as well in PE classes, so that they would get double usage, so that if they ever wanted to do that, to keep track, during a PE class, they could keep track of their walking and their mileage. But anyway, the walking group was really successful. The teacher's name was Mrs. Walton. So it was Walton's Walking Club. So she got a little catchy name there, which was fantastic. And they would just meet once a week, walk around the neighborhood. Sometimes they'd go get a little smoothie afterwards. So it was pretty sweet. I think they even saw a fox one day, which was the coolest thing. And the fact that they got a picture of it was even cooler. And I would say probably the third action step that we found the need for our school district was PE in class, like during school hours. And we were able to buy shin guards. Evidently, the PE coach, one of the PE coaches, said that a lot of the students were really bummed out because they had to stop playing PE, not PE, but soccer, because they didn't have shin guards to help with safety. So we bought shin guards, and there's some awesome pictures of the kids playing soccer again. So that was a unit that they had covered. But I really felt like we were able to let the money cover a lot of needs for our school district. And like I said, the support and the appreciation from the staff and the PE department for letting me just kind of come in and say, what do we need? And then them helping me decide the needs by taking that survey was so implemental.
Chelsea, that's really amazing. And, as you now reflect more on this, because I had a chance to read your summary report, what learning success or impact has participation in this, Missouri Healthy Schools opportunity provided you and certainly your school district?
I think it's been huge. And the sustainability fact of like having the support from this grant, the powerlifting club it's here to stay. The after school walking group, it's going to maintain, like just the idea of doing something that is, I guess, just, when educators are there because they love kids, they love to bring the best out in their students. And so I just feel like these after school programs that we were able to kind of support and throw resources at was just monumental and huge. So there's no going back. We're just moving forward now. I think this grant has really helped that progress.
Chelsea, thank you so much for sharing. Sheri, anything you want to add? Because obviously, you've been working with her this whole time. Any other maybe insights that you have from talking to her and her report?
Well, I think Chelsea, they did a good job in their committee work, coming up with the needs and being able to do a variety of projects that all were successful and all able to be implemented and all able to be sustained to improve the physical education program. It was an amazing job.
Thank you. I had a good time.
Me too.
Chelsea, it sounds like it. I look forward to seeing you hopefully soon again, because we just love your energy and certainly the resourcefulness you've been to your school district.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right. So Sheri, there we go. That's our first case study. And now we go to our second case study. So talk to us about Christy Pittman, because Christy's got a cool story as well. So what do we know about Christy?
Christy Pittman is with the Carl Junction School District. Her project was with heart rate monitors that focused primarily at the junior high and then also the high school level. She is a wellness coordinator like Chelsea. So, Christy, welcome.
Hi.
So, Christy, we'll start with question number one. What inspired you to your interest to this opportunity? Why did you pursue it?
Well, I could pretty much ditto Chelsea. I was on the same Zoom meeting for MOCAN, and Chelsea and I both work underneath the Freeman Hospital. And I was like, well, if Chelsea's going to do it, I'm going to do it. We're together a lot. We have the same position with our different schools. But, to be honest, when I heard the $3,000, I'm part-time liaison for wellness, and that's more than half of my budget. And it gave me an opportunity to facilitate them getting things. I mean, that's a lot of money. And even Carl Junction is not a bad, it's a great school district, but $3,000 is $3,000. And
Right.
I was just excited about being able to help them find where they need it, where it could best be utilized.
All right.
And we had the same kind of meeting it was interesting because I went to our assistant superintendent, Dr. David Pyle, as soon as I talked about where do you see the need. And it was anywhere from, junior high, high school, maybe even down to the lower grades. But he immediately said, Carl Junction had just started the junior high weightlifting program, and they had multiple needs. And what ended up happening through our committee meeting in identifying the need, the high school had started with the process of getting heart monitors, not just for the athletes, but also for PE. And then we were able to do that to junior high, and the grant combined with some leftover money that I had in my budget allowed both the junior high and high school not only to get the heart monitors. What they found out in the process, it's one thing to buy the heart monitors, but to get all the supporting equipment, the numbers were going sky high. And through that semester-long process, we were able to set them up by the end of the school year with everything they needed for both the junior high and high school students.
That's
wow.
awesome.
That is awesome. So can you talk to us about, the impact or the success or maybe any insights that your participation, in this opportunity is provided? Because it sounds pretty darn amazing, not only to have the heart rate technology, but to have everything that goes with it. I've seen school districts that use it. It is pretty darn amazing.
It is amazing. So because of back orders and equipment, and we have problems with Apple and all that, we were able to just actually, the coaches were able to utilize all of that just last week. And of course, I was there. And there were 4 coaches involved, both junior high and high school, and they were like kids in a candy store. They could not talk fast enough to let me know all the possibilities that it was giving them. They were excited about the heart monitors themselves, but when you put it up on the screen, both the computer screen and then the television, the kids had big old smiles on their faces. It's so it allows the coaches to do so much more with their overall health, and it allows the kids to be responsible for what they're doing. And when they're excited about something with technology and especially PE, it gets them excited about actually moving faster, moving harder. It was the most amazing hour that I've had in a gym in a long time. Yeah, it was fun. And we're just getting started. School was out last week. So next year, all summer long, they're going to be, perfecting what they can. And next year, I just can't imagine all the things they're going to be able to do with equipment.
Absolutely. Christy, we love your enthusiasm. It is so contagious. I do. I love these shows.
Well, I appreciate the fact that Sheri and Laura, I got to kind of be the face to my school, and my coaches and administrators and the students think that I did all of that, and I didn't do anything. I've just followed the directions that they gave me, and to be able to present it to all the people that I presented it to it's just the best feeling in the world. So I'm so appreciative of the grant. Yeah.
Yeah. Sheri, any other things you want to add to that? Because obviously you've been working with her this whole time as well.
Well, I think, Christy, the sustainability going forward, because they're so excited. We end the year with such a big impact that it makes coming back in the summer and the fall is going to be so awesome, because they go, hey, we did do that. We started that. And it is because of you. Thank you for being consistent. There were some bumps, but thanks for being consistent. It's awesome. It's well worth it.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Christy. I can just tell you this. I think what's going to be brewing a year from now is we're going to have hopefully the same group on, and we want to hear about the sustainability of what happened next over this next school year, because it will be interesting to see how this, served as the genesis, especially with the funding and some of the programming that you all have done, especially now how you will integrate your heart rate technology into your lesson plans and your activities and things like that.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So Sheri, there we go. That's our second case study. I don't know about you, but I'm just like, let's go. All right.
Oh, it's so exciting.
I know. So talk to us about our next case study. What do we know about Philip DeVillers?
Well, Phil DeVillers is in Carthage School District, and he will tell you he was at the Moshe convention. I said, hey, you need to come to this session. There's some opportunities here, and I think you're going to really like it. So he's done due diligence, and I'm going to let him tell his story.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We're really excited to have you here. So we'll ask the question we've been asking the rest of them. What inspired your interest to this opportunity, and why did you decide to pursue it?
Well, she kind of stole my answer. Dr. Beeler is the one that inspired me. I was one of her students at Missouri Southern State University. She was my professor and my advisor, and I hadn't been to the convention for a couple of years. Me and my wife, we've had 2 kids in 3 years, and I was just excited to get back up there. I saw that Dr. Beeler was speaking. Honestly, I didn't even know what she was speaking on. It happened to be about CSPAP. And I was like, oh, well, okay, this is useful. So she inspired me about this. I've actually done one other grant before, and we had a great experience with it. And ultimately, it's I just want to have more reach and more impact for my students to be physically active. And again, I'm a teacher in Carson, Missouri. Or I don't know about, I can't speak for other PE teachers' budgets, but ours isn't $3,000.
Wow. So with that, how did you identify your needs and create your goals and action to address those needs?
So we went ahead and did the school health index, which is, I believe, is from the CDC, and we did it with a team. So it was my school counselor, myself, our custodian, even a little bit, and then also our nurse. And we were looking at everything. And one thing that we noticed that was kind of a glaring need is we really need more physical activity clubs. We have a physical activity club, but it's just during recess, and it's just for half the school. Like, my building is a K-3 building, and it's just for second and third grade, and which is great, and it's a great start. But there's room for growth. So we're like, yeah, we need more, and a club that specifically is the whole school.
Absolutely. And then, our last question, and this is the one I always love, what learning success or impact has participation in this opportunity provided you and your school district?
The impact has been huge. Absolutely huge. It's exactly what I was dreaming and hoping. I get really passionate about my students seeing that PE is beyond physical activity with the ball. Okay, I think typically, when you think of PE, it's stereotypical of like, oh, we're gonna learn basketball, we're gonna learn soccer, and yeah, we're gonna learn that stuff. But man, it's just a small part. Most of our students, when they grow to be adults, their health and wellness is probably not going to be with the basketball. It's probably not going to be with, a soccer ball. Like, they're going to have to, find other stuff, other interests. And so I really wanted to find something to use this money that's something that involved a ball. And so I thought rock climbing was a great way to do it. It's fun, it's exciting, and I saw students that typically aren't enthusiastic in my class or enthusiastic at recess. They'd rather just hang out and talk with their friends. They were motivated and they were pumped to try and set their goals and break their goals. And another impact that was beyond just the physical part of it was the social, emotional, and the cognitive part of it. I was really, really impressed with the goal setting, the growth mindset. I had students that were saying, I can't get there. And I'm like, whoa. Then we have just discussions about like, okay, you can't do it yet. Like, you got to work to it. It's going to take time. And then we have, delayed gratification, conversations. And then we talked about, you got to just, little at a time, and so it was just beyond what I thought it was going to be. The physical benefits speaks for themselves, but it was more than just that.
Absolutely. And Sheri, how about that? He came all the way to see you. He didn't let his two kids get in the way. This past year, got a chance to see your session and then hear about, obviously, Laura, during the general session, talk about the scholarship opportunity. And Sheri, what else you want to add to this? Because this is obviously, Philip being one of your students, and I know how I feel about my students. So give us a little more insight onto this story, because it's really cool, Philip, everything that you shared.
Well, Phil's always been a good student. So he is a student of students, but he loves his kids and his own kids as well as his, students at school. And he has been so excited and focused on this whole project to get it from start to finish. And he just couldn't wait. And he got his teachers engaged. His administrative support was immediate, and he knew that. So he's built a good relationship. He's got a good community, and it's just an amazing project. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Everything.
Thank you guys for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And Philip, we are very proud of you because, again, you're just a living testimony of what we talk about all the time, when you talk about teaching that, you know what, sometimes we need to step out of our comfort zones. That's something you guys had never done before. And then look at, again, the impact. And, you know, kudos to you and your school district. And what I was so impressed with earlier is that you took a full team approach, kind of like what we've learned with the WISC model. And congratulations on everything that you've all experienced at your school district.
Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. All right, Sheri, how about that? One of your former students.
And it's amazing.
That is
That's what
amazing.
you want to see. I mean, you want to see them become the teachers, and he is a teacher as he was a student. It's all about somebody else and doing a greater good.
Absolutely. And you know, what I'd like to do now, Sheri, is we're going to bring on someone that, you know, we're very close to. Obviously, she's been a staple in MoShape. Certainly a staple and staple on a variety of fronts, but we're going to bring on Dr.
Yes.
Carol Cox. And what can you tell us about Dr. Cox's work with the grant?
Well, Dr. Cox is very grant experience. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hey, good evening. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Sheri.
It's you're very grant experienced, and she said in the workshop she already knew what she was doing, or at our session rather than some workshop. But she knew what she was going to do, who she was going to approach, how it was going to happen before she ever left the session. So it's amazing. Great focus, great community engager.
Yeah. So Dr. Cox, with that, you know, I'll ask the same question that we've asked, you know, the rest of everyone, of all our guests tonight. You know, what inspired your interest to this opportunity and why did you pursue it?
Oh, Sheri and Laura. I did go to their session. If you haven't been to MoShape, get to MoShape. They give scholarships for that and helping with substitute teachers. Get on the website and, you know, contact the people and find out how you can get there if you haven't. And if you haven't been for a while, come on back. These opportunities just happen there. Just about everything happens at MoShape. All the networking, all the ideas, and Sheri and Laura inspired me. Just what Sheri was saying. I was just sitting there going, yeah, we need this. This is something happening. So they inspired me and just got the wheels turning. And I was thinking about physical activity post-COVID, especially with middle school kids. Being on our district wellness committee, I already had an idea of what our needs were. And again, it was before COVID. We did the school health index. We did all the wellness committee step-by-steps that you're supposed to do, but started thinking more, what can we do for those middle school kids, the ones who aren't the athletes, because that's when they start looking into, you know, trying sports and music and dance and everything. But what about the kid that isn't, you know, that expert and, you know, going a little higher with it. And I'm thinking this is kind of a big undertaking. We may need some community partners. And I'm like, geez, who could be a community partner with physical activity? Well, our Dare County Family YMCA is right across the street. I'm also the president of the YMCA board. So 1 and 1 equals 2. So trying to think, the Y has been a partner with the district on the elementary level for a long time. Like, well, what about middle school? So it started getting my wheels turning and thinking a little bit more about increasing physical activity with that population.
Wow. And then the second question we have for you is, how did you identify those needs and create goals and actions to certainly address your needs, especially in the context of getting another party involved like the YMCA? Right.
And that's the way we do things in Kirksville. You don't do it alone. You need community partners, and everybody's willing to help. Again, the wellness committee, we've done the school health index before. We know what we were doing, but this time, specifically for this grant, we had to take a deeper dive, specific grade, and looking specifically at physical activity and looked at the data. We got a good team together. We had the middle school physical education teacher. She was the wellness coordinator. We had the middle school principal. Everybody, the superintendent was on board. Trying to think, our YMCA representative was there. He was our new program director and very excited, loves the kids, always having innovative programming. So when we all put our heads together, we went through the school health index and just kind of took it step by step and found we did have needs. Exactly what, that gut feeling is, there's something for the middle school. We need to, improve our physical activity, but also we need community partners, and the data just spit that out. So the gut feeling, the evidence was there to before and after school programs. There's before school programs. We needed some after school programs, and really working more tightly with community partners, which again, right across the street, the Y, we need to take advantage. Okay, so that's where we were.
Absolutely. And then our last question is, what learning, success, or impact has participation in this opportunity provided you, your school district, and of course, even the YMCA?
Right. It was a win-win-win all the way around. Everybody won. We put an evidence-based physical activity, after-school physical activity program in called Catch. And what we found was an evidence-based program works. Yeah. We ran the program 3 to 5 after school. The YMCA, we used the building, we used the grounds. They also do after-school programming. That's after in summer school programming, day camp. They know the drill. With the equipment though, and the lesson plans, fantastic. Catch was remarkable. We got the equipment, but we couldn't afford the lesson plans. So I told them our sob story. They gave us the lesson plans for free. It was fantastic. We had a whole license to use them for a year. But we found evidence-based programming wise, we increased moderate to vigorous physical activity for 20 to 30 minutes in the majority of the kids. So it credit the after school director from our Y, the kids loving the new equipment, hula hoops and bean bags and things that, it's not a basketball or a soccer ball. It's physical activity. They played all kind of different games. They were having fun, but we reached our objective of increasing their physical activity in the moderate to vigorous range for 20 to 30 minutes. And the YMCA also gave them a healthy snack afterwards. And snack is like again, they do that kind of food programming at the Y. It's like a $5 meal for them afterwards. So they had a healthy snack, they had healthy physical activity, and they had some good, healthy fun.
Carol, that's an amazing report, and we're really excited so much with you getting that evidence-based, and obviously we look forward to hearing more about that. Sheri, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, Carol, can you talk a little bit more about Catch? We talked about evidence-based and how inclusive. Did you talk about the immediate sustainability with summer and fall?
Oh yeah, we're already sustaining, no problem. We're taking it from the spring after school programming. Now we have summer school, and we have after summer school after school program, and then day camp program. So we're going to get these kids no matter what, and it's going to sustain itself through the summer, and then we'll start back again in the fall.
Wow, that's awesome. Carol, what I'm going to do is I'm bringing on a very special guest. I'll be very honest with you. He didn't know he was going to be on, but because he's here and because you were talking about MoShape, I'm going to bring on right now live MoShape Executive Director, Dr. Tom Lowry's in the house. Woo! Tom, how are you?
Well, I'm doing very well, and it's a great privilege to be on the same program with all the people that I work for.
So Tom, first of all,
plug in.
Yeah. So first of all, what's your reaction? Laura kicked this whole thing off with how important it was, to let everyone know about the funding opportunities. But now you hear Carol, you've heard 4 other, case studies, if you would, have these amazing success stories, evidence-based. What's your reaction to that?
Well, amazing. That's all you can say. But this is exactly what every one of our members, every one of the schools in the state can do. They may not get the funding that Laura was able to provide to them, but at the same time, look at the initiative that they had, how they used the school health index as a beginning point, how they recruited members of their school community to take part, and especially the reaction by everyone, the students, the faculty, how excited they were to work with the heart rate monitors, as Christy was showing. Guy, you and I have seen that. Laura and I have seen that extensively, and what that will do. And all I can say is that we look forward to continuing this at an even higher level with the new opportunities we're going to be having over the next few years. And I just want to thank all of the people that took part in this. And you were right, Guy. It's evidence-based that makes the difference.
Yes.
Carol showed that. Christy showed that. Phil showed that. Chelsea showed that. Everyone was able to have some things. We'll also mention, and you're well aware of this, one of the schools that Laura's worked with, the Beeler School District, because you're focusing on CSPAP, the Coordinated School Physical Activity Program. 1 year after initiating the CSPAP program in the Beeler School District, in the year before, 21% of the students did not have even one healthy fitness zone. Not one. That's 1/5 of their school population was underfit in all 4 categories. After implementing the CSPAP program for 1 year, that number went down to 2%. So being active throughout the school year and focusing on the objectives of this program, it's amazing. So we need more data. We'll collect more on a systematic level, and you can see what difference that makes with school administrators. So thank you all for taking part. Sheri, my dear friend and colleague for many years, and Guy and Laura especially. I treasure the time that we have together, and we're always looking for ways that we can impact our members in a way that it brings greater programming, policies, and practices to their district.
Yeah, Tom, thank you so much for jumping on. I just have one last, announcement. And I know, Tom, you'll validate this because I've talked to Sheri and Laura about this. Carol, we're really excited to let you know that everyone on this call tonight and anyone who took part in the scholarship for CSPAP, you'll all have the opportunity to present during a coffee talk this November from the 9th through the 12th. We'll get the date as we get a little closer, but we know sometime during our MoShape convention, this will be a coffee talk session. You'll actually be able to also bring some photos and some image and really kind of go, very intimate with everyone who wants to learn more about this and all the things that you all did. So just want to let everyone know that this will be a session at the upcoming MoShape 2023 convention.
Fantastic.
That's
The more
awesome.
we can talk about it and get other people on board and hopefully inspire them like Sheri and Laura inspired us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Tom, Carol, thank you guys so much for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guy, for making this all work.
Absolutely. All right, Sheri.
We got to go with Gina.
We got Gina.
Miss Gina Lang in Liberty Public Schools. She again has, we start. Hi, Gina.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. We started with Chelsea that had 3 projects, and Gina had 2 really solid projects. So tell us about it.
All right. Well, what inspired me? Well, I was sitting eating lunch at the general session at MoShape when I saw you guys go up there and talk about this. And I am always on board with any sort of grant opportunities that I can get for my kids, for my school, for my district, that kind of thing. So that was an immediate mark off. I got to be at that session when it happens. And so then when I sat and listened and you guys explained it so well and talked about how really very simple this whole process is to do and the benefits that I could bring back to my district and to my students, and then with my project to my teachers, was just a slam dunk, was something I wanted to be a part of.
That's
wow.
awesome.
So then how did you, identify your needs and the goals that you created and certainly the actions that you then took to address your needs?
Sure. So I was fortunate enough, I was able to make a committee of my principal, a counselor at my school, and then another teacher who is a more active teacher. And we sat down and we went through the SHI and we looked at what we're doing great in our building and where we can make our improvements. And going back to kind of what was said earlier, the whole post-COVID thing, we were looking at what could we do to help anyone within our building. And so our teachers stuck out to us first and foremost that we need to take care of our teachers so our teachers can take care of our students. And so the idea of creating a little wellness loft was born from this meeting. And we took a space that's within our building, created a space in there where teachers can go in and have a minute to themselves. There's a walking treadmill in there that they can get on. There's yoga equipment. There's a iPad that's set up with yoga type things that they can do on it. There are just movable things. We're going to add some weights over the summer that they can get in there and do just for if they need 2 or 3 minutes within the day to go in there and reconnect everything and then go back out and be their best self for their students. So that was our number one project. Our second one was looking at our intramurals and saying that has died down after COVID. We're not getting kids that are showing up as much. And so how can we help amp up that program? And so we were able to provide some field trips for them to do so they could go out into the community and see what's in Liberty that they can do for their health and fitness and not just think there's nothing to do here. I just live here. It's boring, but expose them to opportunities where they can be physically active when they are out within the community. So we're able to provide those field trips and then also buy some ping pong tables so we can start to build up the lifetime activities that they can do when they're in intramurals. And it's not just, hey, go play basketball, go play this game. Like, let's show you the things you can do over the course of your life.
Yeah. And then Gina, what learning success or impact has participation in this scholarship opportunity provided you and your school district?
The impact for my teachers has been huge. Just to see them in the middle of a day come back upstairs and say, hey, I was in there for 5 minutes. Thank you so much for having this space for us to go to. Or for the kids to seeing their faces when they went bowling or when they went to the trampoline park and were able to do things that maybe they aren't able to do on a regular basis, and to see the excitement for it. So to see the excitement from our middle school kids all the way up to our staff was huge, and definitely something that's sustainable. This is something that we're going to keep building on and adding to over the course of the next few years so that we can make sure that our wellness is utmost importance for our students and for our staff.
Absolutely. And Sheri, any insights?
Gina, the Wellness Loft, I know I said it to you several times, but Gina was one who did take the social emotional learning specifically to the staff. And we've talked even at our Most Shape Board of Directors meeting about what can we do to help teachers more. We have a convention, we provide professional development, but what else? And taking it to a local level and for immediate impact. And it's been successful and it's been recognized. Kudos.
Thank you
for going out on the ledge.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And Gina, good opportunity. We'll see you at the that session we talked about at Most Shape in November. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, I'll be there.
All right. Well, thank you. And Sheri, we have one last, amazing case study. Talk to us about Jeremy Ellis.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome.
Jeremy, tell us about your projects. You started off with a bang with the family and community project, and everything kind of, I believe, grew out of that. So tell us about your projects.
Yeah, so I guess first what inspired the interest is as the new PE facilitator in my district, I was working with Laura a lot, and I happened to see her at Most Shape, and she was like, yeah, I think you should probably come to this one. And she kind of pulled me through, and I was just like, man, this is a great opportunity, especially considering the fact that there are so many things that I wanted to do on my campus and throughout the district, but just like not having the resources to do it. And this was a perfect opportunity, giving me the resources to utilize and do the things that I needed to do on my campus that could benefit our kiddos.
And then our second question is, how did you talk to us about that process of identifying your needs and how you created your goals and then your actions to address those needs?
Yeah, so even before we did the school health index, like I've already been in talks with my social worker on campus, my guidance counselor, my nurse staff. And we already kind of looked at some things that we needed to do and work on campus. And after the school health index, it just kind of confirmed this, like, oh yeah, this is what we need to do right here. And that kind of led us to my first event, which is community engagement. So we had the family wellness night, and that was one of the biggest things that as a school that we needed. I had goals for students to be participating in activities with their families at home.
Oh, wow.
But the families had no clue as to what, exercise or activity looked like. They thought exercise was going to the gym. Like, oh, I got to go to club fitness, or I have to go to one of no, like, that's not what it is. So getting parents into the building and showing them, like, this is how you can exercise and have fun, meaningful activities, and and enjoy it too. So that was a big thing, and we did that back in January. And I'm gonna tell you, like, I've never seen so many positive feedback on social media from parents. Like, it was so many people on social media, parents, that my mom sent me something on Facebook, and she was just like, "Look, is this your school? Like, look, somebody posted this about Persian," and I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." Like, this. It's funny how it spread, and we continuously got feedback. It's like, "Coach, when you doing the next one? When's the next one? When's the next?" Even to the point, our field day was just last week. We had so many parents. It's like the previous field days, I might have had one parent.
Wow.
We had like 15 parents at field day this past, because they were just so excited to go out and do activities that like weren't sports and weren't going to the gym and lifting weights. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. So, Jeremy, our last question, and this is the big one we've been kind of highlighting all night. What learning success or impact has participation in this scholarship opportunity provided you, as well as your school district? And now I can say this, as well as your community.
And I'm going to focus on the impact. I kind of already spoiled it, but the impact in the community has just been so great. When parents are asking, how can we be involved more in PE, and how can we, what things can we do over the summer? Because like we focus on like summer learning loss in math and English. But like they're trying to make sure that their kids are not losing learning from the physical activity, physical education, and health. So I think that was the greatest impact from this opportunity.
Wow.
As well as just like continuous support. We've had so many parent donations. Like, I had parents donating money for the field day activities because it was just that impactful. So I think that was the biggest takeaway from my experience.
Mhm.
Wow.
That is
Sheri,
amazing.
yeah, anything else you want to add? Because obviously you were experiencing this with Jeremy in real time since January. What's this journey been like?
Well, I know the real timeline, but the outcome has been amazing. Great job. I know it took persistence, like everybody else who's juggling a lot of different things to stay with it, but I think it's paid off for you in the end, at least from the outside looking in. And sustainability, you can go anywhere now. You've got so many options. I'm so proud of you for staying with it, because you had a lot of options here.
It was
and
a lot of options.
What you ended up with is amazing.
Yeah, me and Sheri, we had those evening talks, and I was just like, I don't know, Sheri, I don't know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. Just stay on. I'm going to bring everyone back just kind of for our final word, as just so we can thank everyone, and I'll start bringing everyone back one by one. And here we go. There we go. Here we go. Here's Gina and Laura. And I think that's everybody. Yep, it is. Okay. So Laura, let's come back to you. You kicked tonight off, and you've had a chance now to hear all these amazing stories, and kind of put this podcast into perspective, and especially knowing that how these schools were just so diligent in what they were using those funding for. And I think one thing that was very universal, they all took a team approach and used that school health index. Kind of speak to your reaction to tonight.
Well, of course, my heart is full right now, and I can't imagine. When I look at these leaders, they're champions beyond the walls of the gym. This is what a true wellness coordinator or champion, and having the support of all their administrators, bringing them on board, bringing your school nurse, your counselor, all of those people, parents, students, I heard were even part of this conversation, to bring all of these people together to go through this school health index assessment that is evidence-based and coming up as a team. You have people working together. You can't do it by yourself. And they have the buy-in because now they see the needs and then they want to be a part of it. And so the essential components of, physical education, number one, is policy and practice. And that's the foundational piece of lifestyle development. But we have to have people like champions here that can go beyond that and bring in that team and look at that comprehensive approach and come up with the unique needs. And we heard everybody's stories, how it's impacted what they discovered and what they wanted to implement. And I just am so proud of it, because this is how change, the culture of change happens, is the process of bringing a group of people together that are passionate about doing what's best for kids and our staff, because our staff are role models for our kids, and bringing those parents and all those community members together as one to really look at what can we do together to make an impact. And I'm just, I can't even tell you how impressed I am and how grateful I am, because every one of these people are passionate, and the passion just resonates it just comes through. So I'm so thankful for being here and being a part of helping to launch, but I didn't do the work, just provided the process. And I had great partners with MoShape partnership. And just, it's you all that did the work. It's the champions, and we need more people like you. That's what we need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Laura and Tom. Let's just go now, kick it over to the MoShape side. You've had a chance to hear all these amazing stories, and also how so much of this was kicked off this past November at our own convention during the general session. I mean, it's got to make you feel a certain way inside, and then seeing all this happen tonight, and certainly what's happened over the past semester. So kind of, give us your final thoughts on this broadcast.
Wow. So many good things here. Guy and Sheri and Carol and Laura and I have worked closely together for many years, and I treasure that time. I met Jeremy for the first time at the convention a couple of years ago and was immediately taken with his presence and his energy and his ability. Gene and I shared a little bit of time together in Seattle at a good time. And Phil and Chelsea and Christy, I hope that we can have some good times at the lake in November. But again, we have to thank Laura for bringing this all together. The work, you have no idea of what went into the work to get the grant to begin with, and then to get this again. We just shared some contract information yesterday, and MoShape is proud and humble to be a partner in this. And we look forward to doing everything that we can, because as you've pointed out, the impact that came through on every case, impact on students, impact on teachers, impact on the staff, the school, and the community. What more can we ask? This is what the WISC model is about. We've seen it implemented. We've seen successes. You're at the beginning level of it, and we're prepared to help you go to a level that you can't even consider at this time. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in November.
Wow. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Laura. Sheri, this is your first time ever now co-hosting. Outstanding job. And any final word you want to put this into perspective? Because again, I can only imagine through your eyes and your lens what this journey must have been like.
God, the best part is all the champions and all the new leaders. Look how youthful they are. They are amazing individuals, strong leaders, and they're going to grow into stronger and stronger leaders and community builders. Kudos to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was just want to remind everyone, we will be looking at, coming out to do an on the move with one of you all. It's a resource that we have, and we'll be discussing that. We'll disclose that next week and who that is going to be. And then also, I was not kidding, and I know Laura was get real excited, but I do think for sustainability, we could do this show again a year from now and then hear about the sustainability impact of what kicked off as a result of this scholarship and all the resources that you make this happen with. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being on tonight. Thank you all for your stories, certainly all your hard work, and for being ambassadors and champions for our profession. It's really just amazing. I feel so blessed to be part of this. And to our live viewers, and even those that might be watching this on the replay, just want to let you know what our next broadcast is. It's actually going to be this Thursday. So if you really loved what you heard tonight, we're actually going to be doing the same sort of thing with another set of schools right here in Missouri. We're going to be talking about the social, emotional climate school success stories. They were kind of on a similar path. They implemented the Health Moves Minds program. And so we're going to get a chance to hear a different set of schools talking about their successes as they were looking at from the model of that social emotional climate. So that will be our next broadcast at 7:30, as you can see right there on June 1st. And hopefully you can all join us on that podcast. And as we kind of come all back together and wrap up, again, just want to say thank you to everyone for being here tonight. And if you certainly are watching this replay, please take the time and retweet this. If you think someone in your circle of your professional network could benefit from hearing these amazing stories, please retweet this or please share this on your social media. We just want to thank you so much, and certainly also want to say thank you to the CDC for helping make all of this possible. For all our guests, for Sheri, Laura, Tom, and myself, we want to thank you for watching us live tonight right here on the MHS Podcast Live. Good night.